Clark, you are suing the defendant for a DNA test and for $1,560 for damages you claim she caused to your property because you deny paternity of her 2-month-old daughter, Vanique.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say today you will prove you are not Vanique's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Bailey, you say you were on fire when Mr. Clark left you for another woman while pregnant with his child.
Yes, I was.
You are 100% certain he is your daughter's father. Additionally, you are countersuing Mr. Clark for $300 for half of Vanique's child care expenses over the last 2 months. Is that correct? So, Mr. Clark, tell me about the damages you're suing Ms. Bailey for.
Yeah, she burnt all of my clothes up. She came over there one day mad about me and her, my baby, and I told her the baby ain't mine. Acting a fool, Your Honor. Trying to get in the house, arguing with my lady.
So wait a minute, she comes over your house with clothes.
Yes.
Of yours.
Yes.
Then burns them.
Then burns them.
At your house.
At my house.
Do you have evidence of that?
Yes, ma'am.
Ron, can you hear me? Yes, Mr. Clark's evidence, please. So she comes to your house with the clothes and then burns the clothes at your house.
Yes, ma'am.
And this is a list of the items that she came over with?
Yes, ma'am.
Jeans, sneakers, shirts, socks, hats, and this is a picture of the fire she set.
Yes, ma'am.
You have a combined total of $1,560. Is that about correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Bailey, did you set that fire to his clothes?
Yes, I did, Your Honor. I really did, because I was mad. I was 7 months pregnant at the time. He left me and shacked up with another girl. And
hold on,
I was emotional. I was mad at the time. And so I was like, you know what, to relieve all this, I have all his clothes in my closet still. So I was like, I put all his clothes in my car. I went to the gas station, got a water bottle of gas, and I went to his house, put the clothes in the front yard, poured the gasoline on them, and I burnt them. And I was relieved.
What are you doing playing with gasoline and fire when you're 7 months pregnant?
Because I was emotional and he left me. Like, he really left me. I know you know how I feel, to be 7 months pregnant, emotional,
Well,
crying.
I don't know how it feels to be 7 months pregnant and someone leave me, but I do know how you feel at 7 months pregnant.
Yes. And so I was very sad.
At this point in your relationship, was he denying he was the father?
He didn't start denying her until she was born, and they both came to the hospital, and his
So wait a minute, why were you so mad then if he wasn't denying her when you were 7 months pregnant?
Because I was 7 months pregnant, and I was just so mad that he left me. Like, you literally left me at 7 months pregnant. Why didn't you leave me after?
The bottom line is he left you to be with another woman.
Yes.
And you're 7 months pregnant.
Yes.
And you were just so hurt.
Yes, that he left me.
She cheated.
Yes, I
So wait a minute, let me get one fact at a time. You mad at him because he went to be with somebody else, but he's testifying that you cheated.
I cheated because he said he didn't want a girl that parties a lot. And so he left, and I cheated. Yes, I did. But I don't think that's cheating. You left, so I had sex with someone else.
One day after my cousin's wedding. Come on now.
Yeah.
Real.
So you all were together. You all got into an argument. You said you really didn't want to be with a girl that parties a lot. Yeah. So you said it's over?
Yeah, I told her it's over.
So that's cheating. I don't call it cheating.
The same night I left. I came back the next day. You know what I'm saying?
But by that time, it was too late.
It was too late. Yes, it was.
Were you all boyfriend and girlfriend, committed, just dating?
Boyfriend and girlfriend at first. And during this relationship, like, he started growing up big, like it was a big tumor on the side of his neck. And so we went to the hospital. He found out he had cancer. From there, he got admitted to the hospital, and he started his chemo sessions and everything. But before then...
And you all were together when this happened?
Yes. They said, are you guys interested in having children? And we both like, yeah, and they was like, well, there's an 80% chance that he can't have children during his chemo.
So you know I can't have kids.
But there's still that 20% that he can. And so they was like, do y'all have $500 to, get his sperm and we can inject you or whatever to, have a child? And we didn't have the money at the time. And so I normally come on like at the end of the month, but I didn't.
So you missed your cycle?
Yes.
Okay.
My cousin moved in with us middle or the end of May, and she was pregnant. So I started taking her prenatal pills to enhance the pregnancy. I knew we couldn't have children, but there's still that 20%.
Now, did you all talk about this? Like, now that this is happening, I want to try to have a baby, or you just decide I'm going to get on prenatal?
She didn't tell me nothing.
Prenatal pills.
She didn't tell me she was taking pills until after the baby was born. I went to the doctor with her. It said she was pregnant. I said, now who you been messing with? Because I'm not the daddy. It's an 80% chance, Your Honor.
But there's 20. There's
Hold
still
on,
that 20%.
no. You had your turn. It's my turn. It's an 80% chance, Your Honor,
There's still that 20%.
where I can't have kids. That other 20% that she's talking about.
They didn't say 100. They said
The
80.
other 20% that she's talking about is the 20% dude that she was messing with.
So you know she was with someone else?
Yes,
She
but
told me.
he wore
She told me.
protection. So there's no.
So
I'm 100% sure
She
that
said,
he's
she
the father
said,
of
she said
Bennett.
they were protection, but right now, she said, but the condom did slipped off. So come
really?
on now.
Did you admit that the condom came
Come
off,
on
Miss
now.
Bailey?
No.
Oh yes, you did. Come on now, you don't have to
He
stop.
he wore protection, but it did not come off at all.
So that's not true.
That's not true.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. Mr. Clark, your doubt stems from the fact that as you're undergoing chemotherapy, you've been informed by your doctors that this would affect your ability, possibly.
Yes.
And that's why they suggested to you to freeze some of your sperm, because they knew that there was a chance that this treatment could affect your chances of having children.
Yes, ma'am.
And you proceeded with your treatment.
Yes, ma'am.
And how much longer after that time did Miss Bailey tell you she was pregnant?
8 months to a year after that time. We went up there. They said she was pregnant. I said, now who you messing with?
Because you
I
had gone
know.
through multiple rounds of chemotherapy at that point.
Yes, ma'am.
And in your mind, you were thinking, after I'm completing this program, she's saying you're pregnant, so you're very doubtful.
I'm very doubtful. Very doubtful. I'm sickly, hands turning black.
Well,
and
he wasn't
everything.
doubtful until like after I had her, and his girlfriend was like, I don't think that baby's yours.
You felt like he was happy about it?
He was happy.
He
And I
was.
was too, very emotional, because from that point I was like, well, he can't have children. There was 80% chance that he can't have
So you're
children.
thinking this 20% miracle has come to pass?
Yes, Bennett is a miracle baby.
We really wanted to understand medically how this works. And so the court would like to call a witness. Ron, could you please escort Dr. Jackie Walters into the courtroom?
Yes, Your
I'd
Honor.
like to ask her some questions, please.
Right up the stairs.
Dr. Jackie, you are a board-certified OBGYN.
Correct.
Mr. Clark had to undergo several rounds of chemotherapy as part of treatment. And during that time, Ms. Bailey announced she was pregnant. They were told by their doctors that there was an 80% chance that this would negatively affect his ability to have children. What are the actual statistics on losing sperm cells while undergoing chemotherapy treatments?
It depends on the type of chemo, the dose, the age of the patient. However, if you ask for general statistics, it is about 77%.
How old were you at the time you were receiving the treatment, Mr. Clark?
I started receiving treatments at the age of 26.
So at 26 years old, would he be considered in the younger part of the spectrum?
Yes.
And that would then better his chances.
Hello.
Well, as you can see, Ms. Bailey is focused
Well, I'm
on
just
that
going by what the doctor
20%
told me.
chance.
Unfortunately, it only takes one sperm. And so
We say that all the time in this
Yes,
courtroom.
correct.
Thank you.
And medicine is not an absolute science. 80% sounds like a lot. It's still that 20%.
So the truth is, we don't know.
Without a semen analysis, there's no true way of us really giving him any statistics. With a semen analysis, if he had a sperm count of at least 20 million per ejaculate, then that's all it really takes.
That don't change the cheating.
No, Mr. Clark, that does not.
I mean,
That does not. Hold on now, because I know you got 20/20 vision. All you can say is 20. I get that. Yes. I get that. But I do want to hear from Mr. Clark
Yeah.
because he says you were also intimate with someone else.
Yes,
And
I
there
was.
may have been issue with the protection.
she was-
And that is relevant testimony as well.
Yes.
So, Mr. Clark, please tell the court, how do you know she cheated?
The first
I
time
told
she
him.
cheated, I caught her.
You caught her.
We were broke up.
Hold on, we wasn't broke up. So I went in her, tried to get in the door. I had a key. Tried to get in her door. And she's trying to hold the door back, so I pushed it in. Dude, it's on the couch. And so me,
He left.
I was like, you know what?
Broke up.
Get my clothes. I'm gone.
Had you been intimate?
Yes.
You had.
Yes.
And you admit to that?
Yes.
Had you used protection?
No.
No. And I still took her back like a fool.
So at that point, you tried to come back together. It didn't happen. I see smiles. Oh,
Yeah, my
that's
baby.
beautiful, right?
Yes.
That's why we're here. Brings you to tears when you see your baby.
Yes.
Why?
She just needs a father. She needs a father. I didn't have a father.
And you really want that for her?
Yes.
I want you to take me to the birth. So much has gone on between the two of you.
He was there. He cut the umbilical cord and everything.
Really?
Yes. But after she got in his ear, it was like,
So you were
now
present
from
for the birth, Mr. Clark?
Yeah, I was there. She was too.
Really? Did you sign the birth certificate?
No, I was gonna sign that birth certificate, and she gave the baby my grandma's name and my last name.
Yeah.
Really? Do you
Because
have
I'm
this
100%
birth
sure that-
certificate?
Yeah, I got
You
it right
did.
there, Your Honor.
Vanique Kiesia Elaine Clark.
My grandma name.
Elaine. Yes.
My grandma just passed, and she gonna get the baby my grandma name.
You all agreed to that?
No.
I did. I just said, well, I think she's 100% yours, so I'm gonna give her your last name.
When you speak and you testify, Ms. Bailey, you have said over and over again that some of his actions are a result of his new relationship.
This don't have nothing to do with her.
And
You know what I'm saying?
he was.
It's-
I guess she was like, no, you
my
can't go
reasons
back
is
over
my
there and see
reasons.
your child until you find out the child is yours.
My reasons is my reasons.
I'd like to hear from your witness. Ma'am, please stand. State your name for the record.
My name is Tierra Hudson.
Ms. Hudson,
Yes.
you are Mr. Clark's current girlfriend?
Yes.
What happened at the hospital? You were there.
She told the nurse to give me the baby out of all
I
people.
did. Do she look like him or do she not?
And he
This
asked
is
me,
getting even more interesting.
he asked me right there in front of me, he was like, do you think this is my baby? And I told him the truth. I said, no, I don't believe she's your baby.
As soon as this baby is born, fresh into the world, that's the first thing you all doing is staring at the baby's features?
Yes.
This,
They're in denial.
Because at the
Well, I
end of
just
the day,
think that's sad.
this,
I mean,
that's
see,
what I'm
you
going
sit
back
at.
down
That's
because
what
they don't
I'm-
got nothing to
calm
do
it
with
down,
I
Mike.
hear you.
For
So,
real.
Mr. Clark, you actually submitted a baby photo
Yeah.
of yourself.
Of myself.
Yes. Yes.
So when you look at that photo,
Uh-huh.
that's
He
you on the
still-
left
he
as
still
a
don't
baby.
see it.
And then
She
and
look
that's-
like you.
That's Vanique on the right.
Yes.
You don't see any resemblance.
No.
I do.
I've been in this seat a million times. And a child looked just like the baby picture of somebody that turned out not to be theirs. But when you see these pictures, you just don't see any similarity.
From the lips.
Look, the lips, the nose, the eyes, the head, everything. She looks just like him.
Not-
She don't have nothing to
that's-
me.
This is the situation we get ourselves in when we make a mess.
Yes. It was a big
Right?
mess. Yes.
So moving forward, you all decide you're not gonna do anything for this child.
Nothing. Haven't did nothing.
She's not mine in my eye.
I just don't understand why he stayed.
I stayed because I loved you.
Let's move forward.
Okay.
You've submitted receipts to the court
Yes.
of the expenses you've incurred thus far.
Yes.
As it relates to baby Vanique.
Yes.
You've spent about $50 a week on diapers and formula and wipes.
Yes. I bought her
Totaling
car,
about
I bought her car
$600.
seat, everything she needed.
Everything you've paid
Yes.
for yourself.
Yes.
And Mr. Clark, you admittedly have not contributed anything.
No, ma'am.
And that's why your countersuit is for $300, which is
Yes.
half of $600.
Yes.
Which, if he is determined to be the biological father of this child, he would be legally responsible to pay. Well, I cannot rule on this until I have the results.
Okay.
Before I go to the results, let's first talk about his lawsuit. Mr. Clark, you came in suing for $1,560 for damages you say she caused to your property, your clothing, that she had burned.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Bailey, you admitted here in court today that you did it.
I did it.
You did it.
And I was so relieved when I did it.
Listen, listen, I know you were hurt.
Yes. Very.
I know, and that will break you down.
It did.
And it will cause you to do some things that you should not do, and it will cause you to do illegal things
And I did.
that under the law
I was
you
so
cannot
hurt.
do.
I know.
Because all you wanted to do was hurt him the way he hurt
Hurt
you.
me.
So, because you willfully destroyed his property, I have to award him the $1,560 from his clothing that you destroyed. Judgment for the plaintiff. Moving forward, I think we're ready for the results.
Burn no clothes no more.
You all done?
Yes.
A lot of unfinished business here. I hope you're taking note, Miss Hudson. You
am.
quiet over there. Just poke, 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 poke. Both of you, back and forth. You can't even get the results. Are you ready for the results?
Yes.
Ron, I'm ready. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics and they read as follows. In the case of Clark v. Bailey, when it comes to 3-month-old Vanique Clark, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Clark You are not the father.
I wanted him to be the father. I wanted him to be there. She looks just like him.
Sometimes we just want something to be true so desperately that we make it so. Miss Bailey, do you know who Vanique's father is?
Yes, I only had sex with one person during this process.
Do you know where he is?
He's incarcerated.
Mr. Clark, you've been through a lot these last couple of years, not just with respect to the paternity, but with respect to your own health.
Yes, ma'am. She almost had me believing, honestly. But I felt it. I felt she wasn't mine.
I can see in your eyes you had convinced yourself.
There was still that 20% chance that she might be his, but she's not.
But in this present moment, you have to understand that he doesn't have a legal obligation.
Right.
And also, because it has been determined by this court that he is not Vanique's biological father, your claim for $300 for half of the child care expenses, I must dismiss.
Yeah.
I'm being straight up with you. You got to put the big girl panties on. Ms. Bennett, you claim that for the last 4 years, Mr. Grant has been claiming he is not your son, Uriah Jr.'s biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you're tired of his doubts and him running away from his responsibility, and you're suing him for $5,000 in back child expenses,
Yes,
correct?
Your Honor.
Mr. Grant, you admit you've not been a part of Uriah Jr.'s life because he's not yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim Ms. Bennett has been dodging the paternity test, and today's results will prove the child is not yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Bennett, how has Mr. Grant been running away from his responsibility?
I conceived my son on July 19, 2010, on my birthday. We went to the jacuzzi suite, we drank, we had a very great time, we had intercourse. 4 to 5 days later, I went to
How can you say
work.
you sat there and
I got sick because I know exact
I had
date.
condom on that night. I know exactly that night. We
you
just started
definitely
messing
didn't.
around. We just started messing
We
around.
have
were
been
only
messing around
together
for weeks by then.
A couple weeks by then, yes.
Ms. Bennett, you're saying that you didn't use protection that day.
No, we didn't, Your Honor.
And that's the night you conceived.
That's the night.
On your birthday.
On my birthday.
You
July 19,
remember it.
2010.
Mr. Grant, you say you did use protection.
I know for a fact I used
Then
protection.
if that's the case, when
Okay,
I
wait,
showed
were you in a committed relationship?
At first we were.
Yes.
You were?
At first we were.
All right, and so you didn't think she was sleeping with anybody else?
Not at first.
All right.
Not at
now,
first.
what makes you think she is
the
now
whole
then?
time. Ain't no not at first. The whole time I wasn't.
I mean, after we started splitting up and everything, I started hearing rumors from a few friends that she was sleeping around with a couple people.
And those people, I don't even know these people that you who is these so-called people? I don't even know these so-called people. And I was staying
thought
with
she
you,
slept
so
with
if
my
I was
cousin
sleeping,
also. I also thought she slept with my cousin.
I would have never slept with your cousin. I never slept with anybody
house.
besides you
Like,
and your whole
I was in
family.
the streets,
Probably
Honor.
in the old
I was in the
everybody
streets.
you
I'm
know.
not gonna lie. I was in the streets. Me and my cousin had a house. I used to leave her there sometimes. Go stay with my sister, sleep the night at my sister's house. So she used to spend the night at the house with my other house with my cousin. So
And nothing ever happened. I would have never slept with your cousin. I never slept with your cousin, never slept with none of your friends.
See,
The only person I have slept with is you. When I
Texting
showed you the
after.
sonogram and told you I was pregnant the day I went to the hospital, you was like, okay, we started picking out names. We started talking about what we was gonna do.
at the time, I didn't think about the time frame. I didn't
Well,
think
you
about the
should have been
time frame
thinking,
at the-
because I was.
Then I started thinking about it. You cannot.
Or other people start thinking about it. Fuck
Okay,
you.
tell me,
Hey,
okay,
you
wait,
start thinking
explain to me this time frame. You said you weren't thinking about it at first, then when you start thinking about it, you discovered...
Yes, we did what we did on her birthday, but I had a condom on. She says that not too long, maybe 4 or 5 days after that she went to the doctor and that she found out she was pregnant 4 or 5 days after that. When
4
I
or
already
5
know-
days after...
After we had sex.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
Back up here. You said your birthday was on what?
July 19th.
July 19th?
2010.
All right, so we got
birthday.
July 19th. This is your birthday, and this is the night you say you had intercourse,
Yes.
right? Unprotected, the night of that.
Yes.
So, then you said, how many days later?
4 to 5, at least a week.
A week is 7 days in a week. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, we got, all right, so it's either this or this. You said that's when you discovered you were pregnant?
Yes.
And you took what, a home pregnancy test?
No, I went to the emergency room because I thought it was
find out?
I
Please,
thought it
Your
was
Honor.
food poisoning.
How could you find out you're pregnant
but
4 or 5 days later?
And they gave me a
I'm a father.
sonogram that said baby.
First
And
of
I
all,
gave you that
I'm a
sonogram
father.
that said baby.
Okay, listen, I'm a father. I have kids already. I have 2 sisters that have 6 kids apiece. There's no way impossible you could find out if you have a sonogram.
So where I get a sonogram from that had my name on it? Where I get a sonogram from? They just made me a sonogram
Look, just 4 to 5 days later, you were given a sonogram?
And it was a dot. It was a dot on the
I'm not
sonogram,
dumb.
and it was an arrow that
I'm
said
not
baby.
dumb. I didn't
Let
want
me
to
just go back to the sonogram, because I'm sitting here thinking, I am a mother, I remember having a sonogram, but I also remember when you think you're pregnant and you call your OBGYN, you call your doctor, they usually tell you not even to come in until...
But they only did the
because
sonogram.
Because they can't truly
Thank you,
tell.
Your
Honor,
They give you a window of time. I think it's like 4 weeks
You're
at
right.
least.
They only did the sonogram because I said that I was having stomach pains, and they said because
I don't believe
that
it.
I said that I was having
no way
stomach
possible.
pains,
I don't believe
and
that.
they had found out that I was pregnant. They wanted me to do a sonogram to make sure everything was okay.
Well,
don't
let's
give
be
you-
clear.
The
Let's
doctor
be
don't give you
clear.
sonograms
I
for
don't
having
think
pregnant
there
parents, for having
necessarily
parents.
is a question whether or not you were pregnant when they performed the sonogram. I think what Mr. Grant is questioning is the timing, meaning, were you already pregnant?
Yes.
If I was already pregnant, I still would have been pregnant by him if I was already pregnant at the end of the day.
So,
just like
okay,
feel like,
okay,
Your Honor,
that's good.
Your Honor.
Hold on, you know, I like to hear the evidence and I like it to make sense.
Okay.
So what you're saying is because you were sleeping together several weeks before
Yes,
that
for
as
several
well,
weeks, yes.
that if you were pregnant,
It
then
still was his.
It's still
There's-
Mr.
It couldn't
Grant.
have been because we just got together, Your Honor. We
were
just
sleeping
went
together for weeks before my
Yes.
birthday came around, and we
No.
went. We was not. Yes, we
wasn't sleeping
were.
together. We was probably only sleeping together for maybe about a week before her birthday, maybe a week or 2 before her birthday.
Okay, week or 2, that still add up. So either way it go, you still the dad, and that's what we gonna prove today.
Miss Bennett, was he there for the birth?
No, he
she
said
left.
he was gonna be there, but he
Oh, she
supposedly he called his cousin. No, we had an arrangement. When I left, I was in the beginning stages of my pregnancy.
I didn't
when
want her to
left.
leave, Your Honor.
I
asked her not to leave.
He did not ask me not to
Only
leave.
reason she left.
I
is
left to go
because
with my mama.
I started getting back together with my other baby.
Yup, he was getting back together
I
with
got
his
back with her,
baby mother,
but she
and
was
we were
still-
supposed to be
At the
together,
time,
but
she
he
was
was
still living with my
creeping.
sister.
He was
So
creeping
there
with
was,
her.
she didn't have to go anywhere. She was still
I
living
wasn't
with my
gonna
sister.
stay with your
She
sister.
was living with your sister and
Yes.
you tried to get back with your ex?
Yeah, he was
I was
going
getting
back
back with my
over
ex,
to
she
his
was living with my
ex-house.
sister.
And I was living at his sister's
so
house with
why
him.
didn't you show up at the birth if you didn't want her to leave your sister's house?
She was gone. She was in North Carolina.
It's
at the
planes,
birth.
it's buses, it's cars.
Gone.
You could have came.
I work.
You said you was
I
coming.
work.
It's plenty of ways to come.
Your Honor, I work.
Even if
Sorry.
you know you work.
I work.
You knew when I was
work. At
having
the time,
myself.
I worked. I
So
was
you
in
should have
the streets.
told your
I got other
job in
kids.
advance. So
It's
what?
like-
This one.
So let me
couldn't
ask you this,
just because
Mr.
she
Grant. No,
calls me-
Mr. Grant, let me ask you this. Did you not show because you had doubts and people were in
No.
your head and you didn't know whether it was
That was not the
yours?
reason why I didn't show. I was still working. I was still struggling. I was
Your Honor.
taking care of stuff myself. So I didn't have it just to get up and go.
Your
at
Honor,
the
he
time.
lied. He had his cousin call me and say he was in jail. I have evidence right here.
He was
Your
in
Honor,
jail?
To say that he was not in
Jerome,
jail.
will you
Your
hand me
Honor.
that evidence, please?
Yo, I was never in jail.
Exactly,
And if my
but
cousin
that's
told her
what
that,
he
if my
his
cousin told her
cousin
that,
called me
I
off
would
his
need to
phone
find that.
and told me that, oh, he's in jail, and my friend so happened to be driving up the street and seen him and said, hey, no, he's not in jail, he's right here. I called his phone. I called
I
his
have
phone.
no recollection
I
of
sent
that.
him
If my
pictures.
cousin told her
I
that,
didn't
I
talk
had
to
no
him
idea about that
until
happening.
2 weeks, probably 2 weeks after I had my son.
So you got a call saying Uriah
Was in
Sr. is in jail and won't be able to make the birth.
Yes.
Who would lie and say
say
they're
you were
in jail?
out of all things.
Who would claim that?
I didn't know. I didn't
So
know. My cousin
also
told
this
her that.
person just brought it upon themselves.
To come out of the woodwork, knew when I was having
Listen.
a baby, and just called me
Right, we
out
wasn't
of
dealing
the,
with each other
I
then.
just fell out
we
the
wasn't
sky and
dealing
called
with each
me.
other then. I have no recollection of what happened when she called and he had the phone.
Okay, okay, all right. So then she called, he had the phone. Did he ever tell you that Miss Bennett had called
He
you?
never told me. He never told me.
I sent pictures.
Never told me.
I texted him.
But
I
you
called
knew
him,
she
I
was
sent
pregnant. You
pictures.
never called to say,
say when
how are
if
you?
I had him.
Is the baby coming?
At the time, no.
Miss Bennett, I need need to understand your suit. You're saying he's done nothing for your son. Nothing. And Uriah is 4 years old.
Yes, I have.
And
right
you
here,
saying
I
4
have-
years, nothing?
I have his expenses for these 4 years, Your Honor. He has done nothing for my son at all.
Jerome,
And I
will you
feel
hand me
like
that evidence,
if he's
please?
not going to be there physically and emotionally, I want him
Your
to
Honor.
be there financially.
Honestly, I feel like this. Hold on. I'm not about to be there financially if I don't know yet. I'm near. I talk to him. Yes, I do.
When you want
we
to,
Talk, I talk
you'll
to him.
talk. You'll call
I
him for a
still
couple
call.
weeks and then you'll stop for
Do I
months.
call though? But do I
You'll
call?
stop for months
I
at a
call
time.
and I
You're not
talk
gonna
to
keep
him.
coming in
I don't
and
just
out
stop.
of his life because
I
he's a
don't
person
want
too.
him
It's
to
like
get confused.
he might be a
All
kid
right.
now,
If
but
I'm
he's
not
also
the
a big
father,
person.
I don't want him to be confused.
What you've presented to the court are expenses.
Yes.
Associated with raising Uriah for the last 4 years. Food, health care, clothes, shoes, toys, daycare, all expenses related to children. And they total $32,304 the last 4 years.
All by
Now,
myself.
the maximum allowable suit in this court is $5,000. Let me be
Your
clear. And that
Is what
is
I
your
want.
suit.
Yes.
I want to hear from your witness. Please stand up.
Hi, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. What's your name?
Shabara Grant.
Ms. Grant, do you believe your brother has a right to doubt?
Yes, I honestly do. Like, I know, like, I hear rumors that she slept with, a guy I used to talk to.
I don't even know this guy.
The baby looks just like the guy.
I don't even know this guy.
It's just a
I'm waiting
coincidence.
to
The baby
know
looks
this guy.
a spitting image of this guy.
I don't even know this guy. This
Every
is some
year she
guy that
stayed
she
with
said
me.
is her ex.
It was a lot of different guys picking her
Oh,
up.
you're the sister she was staying with.
Yeah.
I stayed with her for a couple months, and anybody,
She lived with my sister. She knows.
Anybody who
She
came,
knows.
anybody who
She lived
came
with
and
her.
got me, or anything had nothing to do with my son nor they business.
So-
and I never left my son unattended at no time. I take care of my son.
'cause he was always with me.
365.
Oh, he was always with me.
365 days
He was
out the
always
year.
with me.
I
Ms.
take
Grant,
care of him.
Let me be clear
If we-
about your testimony. You said you think Uriah Jr. looks just like this other guy.
Yes, a spitting image.
And
And
still
who
do
is
not
this
know
other guy?
He was some guy I was dealing with years ago. But
You were?
Yes.
How did she meet him?
I don't know
I'm
when
waiting to
she
figure out
ran.
how I
I don't
met
know
him,
when
'cause I don't
she
even
ran
know how I
across
met
them,
him.
but I heard
I don't even know when I met him.
rumors that she
I'm
was
still
sleeping
waiting to
with
find out when I
this
met him.
guy.
She see how good our family is. We have.
What? I do
Between me
this
and
by
my sister,
myself 365.
she
I wouldn't
knows-
care how y'all family is. He's straight regardless.
Years, she
All right,
parties.
let's bring it down a
I
notch.
dropped.
I have 3 kids. My sister has 6. I have another sister that has 6 kids. I have a brother that has 6 kids. We're always taking care of our kids. She sees how good my family is. She sees how
Always
we
together.
build our
Okay, so
family.
do you, Ms. Grant, have any recollection? Can you put your ex and Miss Bennett together? Why do you feel like they had a relationship?
It just so happens that the little boy looks just like him, and the rumors that I hear is the same guy's name. Like, coincidence or not?
No, one person tell the next person, and everybody
And
go
your
with that
brother
same story.
said at
Y'all all
some point
blind
you
eyed in the
wanted to
story.
pay for a DNA test.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I gave her money.
She's from Buffalo. When she came up there and stayed with my sister for them 2 months, all she had to do was go downtown.
Just like all you had to do was go downtown.
Yes,
You
I
the one
could've.
who doubting it,
Yes, I
but
could've.
yet and still, I told you all my information. I gave you everything, and you have not yet went down there.
I didn't-
Did I
We
not
wouldn't
give you
be
the
here.
money to go
you
downtown
did. You
to
did.
make
You want
the
your couple
copies?
dollars back?
At the
You want
time-
your couple
at the
dollars
Did we
back?
get any
So you can
papers?
get that
At the
couple
time I
dollars
was
get no
working.
papers.
All
At
right.
the time I was
Let's,
working, he was at the
let's calm down. Thank you for your testimony, Ms. Grant. You may be seated. Mr. Grant, have you done anything for this child? Did you bring any evidence to court?
No, I didn't. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, we just had a bad storm out there in Buffalo, New York, over the winter, and a lot of my papers were in my mother's basement, and her pipes busted. So, like, a lot of pictures they wanted me to bring here, a lot of my papers and everything, I don't have. They all got destroyed. But his first year he was born, me and my sister sent packages. We sent money. I didn't send a lot of money. I might have sent close to $500.
3.
And we sent
to be exact,
packages.
from me.
We definitely
package.
sent packages. We were sending, like his first year, yeah, we were.
Now, when you were sending these packages, were you doubting whether or
Yes.
not it was your child?
I was still doubting at the time that when
You
we
never
were sending
told
those
me you
packages.
was doubting. You didn't tell me you was doubting until my son was, what, almost a year? 6, 7 months, maybe close.
You heard
maybe
what she
close
said,
to a
almost
year.
a year.
Ms. Bennett, I know and I can tell that family is very important to you.
I didn't have my dad. I would like him to grow up, and as a young African-American man, that's
just
what they
desperate,
need.
Your Honor.
They need that
She
whole
desperate. She
family.
need
They
it 'cause
need
she didn't have that
They
father.
need
She
that
need it.
dad in their life, and I just want him to have better than what I had. I had a good life, even though I didn't have my dad, but I want him to have a great
That's
life.
why she want me around.
What? Please, I've been taking care of myself forever, and it's gonna continue like that. I don't need a man for nothing, not even to take care of my son. I just want you to do what you need to do, what you are
I'm a
responsible
good
to do.
father. If he's mine, then I will. Honestly, she really don't know. And
I do
if he's
know.
not mine, I want a countersuit for motion to get my name back if he's not mine.
All right. With that said, Jerome, I'm ready for the results.
Thank you, Your Honor.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Bennett versus Grant, it has been determined by this court. In the case of Bennett versus Grant, pertaining to 4-year-old Uriah Grant Jr., it has been determined by this court, Mr. Grant, you are Uriah Jr.'s father.
I told you. Can I get an apology? I told you. Oh, I told you. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted.
Okay.
It's just an apology. I told you I would never do that to you.
I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm glad.
It seems like you're a little bit emotional. You happy to finally know?
Yeah. My son. I'm happy.
I always knew this. I'm ecstatic because I already knew this. This is just wonderful that now you know. So.
Well, that's why this court exists. You know, life takes us through ups, downs, changes. We all make mistakes. But ultimately, if you can come together for the truth, that's how we can clear the slate and begin again. Now, you also had a suit, and it was dependent upon whether or not, Mr. Grant, you were Uriah's biological father, and you are. Plaintiff, you said you were suing for $5,000 because you had spent $32,304
Yes,
on
Your
expenses for the last 4 years. I am going to award you that $5,000
Thank you, Your
because
Honor.
that's the maximum this court can award.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You say the defendant, Mr. Little, stopped paying for your twins after finding out another man was also providing money.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now you say you are seeking the results of a paternity test to prove he's their father and to get him to pay up once again.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Little, you argue that when Miss Clifton's twins were 4 months old, you learned another man had claimed them as his own.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your
Now,
Honor.
you say she's all about the money.
Yes.
And she's not getting any more from you.
Correct, Your Honor.
Miss Clifton, please tell the court, why do you have multiple men supporting your children?
Your Honor, I'm a full-time nursing student. I work 19 hours a week and I get paid $7.25 an hour. I have 3 children. My oldest boy plays football. I need help. If I can't do it for the kids, if they need something, if I can't do it, I ask Mr. Little. If Mr. Little can't do it, somebody still got to do it.
But do the other men think they're the father?
No, ma'am, absolutely not. The other men, this is the thing. You trying to like me, you trying to come into my life, you say you want to be with me. I'm not an ugly person. You're liking me. If you like me, show me, prove it to me. Me and my kids need some help. So if you like me, I'd like that you would help me then. So that's the thing
Well,
about
all
picking
righty
up the
then,
court.
you cut to the quick on that, but Mr. Little, you think these other men think they're the father of
Correct, Your
the
Honor.
kids as well?
Correct, Your Honor. Now, me and Ashanti, we met a few years ago, and we ended up spending a lot of time together as me being her personal mechanic.
Oh, a personal mechanic.
Yes, ma'am. She was looking for a vehicle, and I was helping her search for a good vehicle. So we spent a lot of time back and forth looking for cars.
So you really are a car mechanic.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. We ended up, getting together, whatever the case may have been, and, time went on. So Miss Clifton came to me and asked me, she was like, okay, Sam,
You glossed over that a little bit. I want to go back and get these facts.
Yes, ma'am.
You're looking for a car, then you end up getting together.
Yes, Your Honor, correct.
What does that mean?
We had sex, Your Honor.
So in this process of looking for a car, you end up having sex
Yes, Your Honor.
with Miss Clifton. That has never happened when I was looking for a car. Miss Clifton,
I
you
can
had
tell
sex with the man when you were looking for your car?
Judge Lake, this is the thing. A friend of mine, a good friend of mine, I was looking for a vehicle. She told me, I know a place that you can go. The mechanic there, he's nice, good to look at. He'll probably work on your car for a little or nothing. He's supposed to be single.
When she said you need a good mechanic, didn't she mean just in your Rolodex, not in your bed?
Yes, in my Rolodex. But it takes two. I didn't proposition him for sex. It takes two. Now, we engaged together, but upon dealing with this man, he awesome to me. He was a good man. He was about his business. I was like, this is husband material. I feel like I had hit the jackpot when I met him.
Why did it end?
Well,
He lied. He lied and led me on. He led me to believe that he was single and that he was all for me. Thanksgiving, he was at my house. I made a joke to him, like, what would you do if I got pregnant? Just joking. And he was like, you can't do that. And I'm like, why? He said, because my wife would divorce me. A wife? Oh! I'm like, what is that? When did you get one of them?
Wait a minute now, Mr. Little. Now you had a wife this whole time?
Well, Your Honor,
you were her personal mechanic?
Yes, Your Honor, but the thing is, me and my wife were separated at the time. She actually broke it off with me instantly then.
And you didn't see him anymore?
Only to get my car worked on. I still kept him as my
No, Your Honor.
I still kept him as my noted and trusted mechanic because he's the only person that knows my car. Why would I go somewhere else? I can still pay you. I pay him for services, so I can still pay you for services.
Miss Clifton, she actually came at my job. Then immediately she propositioned me for sex. Okay.
Wait a minute. What happened now, Miss Clifton?
He had been working on my car. We separated for about 2 years. I had started dating someone else. At the time, he had did some work on my car that it was costly. It was a lot. I said, baby, I'm hurting right now. I said, this is all I got. This is all I got. I said, matter of fact, my exact words is, I really need to keep my money. And he looked at me and he was like, well, you know what time it is.
Judge.
Mr. Little.
That's not true. That's not true.
Yes, it is.
That's not
Yes,
true.
it is.
You traded car services for bedroom services?
No, ma'am. No, Your Honor.
Do you ever pay for your car repair?
Absolutely
She didn't
not.
get a car repair, Your Honor. She just got a written estimate that day.
I'm coming to pay him this day for what he had done to my car. I left with my car and I left pregnant. And I left with my money.
So you're saying that was the day you got pregnant?
Absolutely.
After that day that we had sex, I hadn't seen Miss Clifton for, I hadn't talked to her, in about a month. She calls me, I think I'm pregnant. I didn't question her. I didn't say, is it mine or why you calling me? Immediately, because I've known her in the past and I know she's not the one to even play like that. So, yes, I was like, okay, well, she's pregnant, okay, cool, I guess we're having a kid.
At that point, you accepted
Yes,
that
ma'am.
you were the father?
Yes, Your Honor.
When did you start doubting it?
I get a random text from her texting this other guy about how much she loved him, cared for him, want to be with him, and I appreciate everything you do for the kids. And I'm like, wow.
It came to you.
The text came to me, and she was sending to another guy with his name on it.
This text set you off.
Your Honor, may I show you?
You have proof of this text?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, Your Honor, after I got the text, like I say, maybe a day or so went by, I never confronted her that I had gotten the text. I asked her, have they been together? She said yes.
He think you were pregnant by him.
Okay. So she said
Don't lie, you told her.
he thought it was a possibility. Why would he think it was a possibility? But she told me before they hadn't been together 6 months prior to me and her getting together.
He thought it was a possibility. He was their father.
That's correct, Your Honor. After that, that's when I started having doubt.
That's sounding like doubt to me, Miss Clifton. I mean, you tell the man that this other man that's helping you thought it was a possibility that he was the twins' father. You tell the man that this other man that's helping you thought it was a possibility that he was the twins' father.
He knows about Mr. Little. He knows that Mr. Little children. He knows that they are not his. This man knows that.
But
Mr. Little is upset.
I don't know him, Your Honor.
You don't got to know him. You don't have to. I don't know his wife.
Okay, Your Honor.
I don't know if she knows about my kids.
Okay, Your Honor.
My concern is the children.
Let me stay on one subject at a time, and I'm gonna get to that. So, after you get this text, you begin to think to yourself,
why would he think it would be a possibility? But you tell me they're mine, but you tell me, no, they're not his. But after I text you, you tell me, yes, he thinks it's a possibility. Why would he think that if you all hadn't been together previous before me and her?
So does this other man, does he know the children, have a relationship with them too?
He has a relationship with me, and he comes to see me. My kids
And
are
the
there.
kids,
my
Your
kids are always with me. I'm a real mom, a real stand-up mom. My kids are always with me. If I ain't at work or school where I'm at all day from 9 to 5 trying to provide for me and his kids, then I'm at home with my children. One night he came and brought me some money. I asked Mr. Little for some things for the kids.
Okay, Your Honor.
No, it's my turn. I asked him on a Thursday. He didn't come till Sunday to bring. He didn't come till Sunday to bring the kids items. I texted him on Thursday, said the kids need milk and diapers.
And I brought them that night.
No,
at
he
12
lied.
o'clock.
He came on Sunday. He brought a little 50-pack of diapers.
A 50-pack? A 50-pack?
He brought it exactly.
Your Honor,
and when he set it
Your
down,
Honor.
he set it down on the big case that somebody had brought for me. They had like 172 in there.
Your
He
Honor.
set it down on top of that big
Your
case. He said
Honor,
his little package for his kids on top of the big package.
Bottom line was, you say you're doing your best to take care of these kids.
That's correct.
At the
Your Honor,
point
he
that you get
halfway
this text
do stuff.
and you start thinking somebody else could be the father of.
Then you start
the
doing
kids.
correct, Your
zero.
Honor.
You was
Okay.
doing 25%. Then you start doing zero.
Okay, Your Honor.
He feels some kind of way
thing.
because another man might help me. What he
Okay.
got to realize in life that I'm gonna
No, I
start
think
dating.
he feeling some kind of way because you text him
That
that
he
he thought
After
it was
he-
a possibility he was their father. Is there any other reason you think
Yes,
this
ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
other man could be the father of the
Okay.
twins?
She sent me a text one night, and she said the kids have no Pampers, no milk. I leave my shop, go to Walmart, buy a big box of Pampers,
50 pack.
and 2 big containers of milk, and take them to her house. By the time I get to her house, it's maybe like 12:30 a.m. Okay, I get out my car, walk to the door, I ring the doorbell. So I ring the doorbell again, and I'm waiting, and it's kind of odd because she always comes to the door because I have an open door policy. She says, okay, so I'm waiting.
And he does.
She opens
He does, 'cause she
opens
got
the
nothing
door,
going
Your
on.
Honor.
I don't have a
She
man, I
opens-
don't have
she opens
nothing
the door,
going
Your
on, so
Honor.
why can't he come?
I walks in, I see the twins. So I set Pampers and the milk down, and I go to play with the twins. I'm playing with the twins. I see some random guy walk out of the back, walk past me, and goes out the door.
Yep.
She never even acknowledged, okay,
Yep.
Sam, this so-and-so, or so-and-so, this is Sam, my baby father, or whatever the case may be. She never said nothing. So I played with the kid for a few minutes because I don't know what he's feeling, because I don't know what he's thinking. So I leave.
man walked straight- he
I
walked
leave
straight
out.
out the door. He was leaving.
He didn't say anything. Only thing she said to me was, I wish you would have
would
called
have
first.
called
So
me.
who was the man?
A friend of mine. And I can have friends. I'm 27 years old. I can
That
have
she
friends.
never introduced us two.
Do I know your
But
wife?
I
Wait,
asked
Miss
her,
Clifton,
Do I
so-
know your wife?
Wait. You had a friend over.
Yes, ma'am. On Thursday when I asked Mr. Little for the stuff.
that brought Pampers and milk.
Is it my
Our kids, Your
turn?
Honor.
Is it my turn? On Thursday, when I asked Mr. Little for the stuff, he didn't bring the items. Me and my children went out of town that Friday, went to Atlanta. When we came back, now they for real need some more items, because we done been out of town. That's when I texted Mr. Little, said, look, they zero. They without. They don't got nothing.
And I brought the
said,
Pampers and
I
milk
said, when I
that
asked
same
you on
night.
Thursday, I guess you don't care nothing about your kids, 'cause I told you 2 days ago they was without. They need something. So I'm trying to see what he gonna do. He never responded back.
That's not true, Your Honor.
I
That's not
called 2 friends of mine. I reached out to a guy on Facebook. This guy is handicapped, walks with a walker and everything. I reached out to him. I said, hey, how you doing? My back against the wall right now. Me and my children ain't got no milk and they ain't got no diapers. Can you help me out? He
On
said yes.
Facebook, you had to reach out to a man that
That
say
I ain't
ask for
seen.
milk and diapers.
Yes, and I haven't seen this man in a year and a half, and I reached out to this guy because he's real nice and was always good to me back in the day. So I reached out to him. That man
So you
came
were
over
out-
instant.
Wait.
and brought
You
the
reached
stuff.
out on Facebook in desperation, or did you lead this man on and kind of flirt and say hello, like remember
Correct,
me?
Your
No, in desperation, because
Correct,
me and the
Your
man knew each other from back in the day. Like I said, the man handicapped, so we ain't never had sex or nothing like that. But he's always liked me. My son is 10. When my son was 6, that man used to come and take him back and forth to football practice and
But
stuff like
wait,
that.
this is what I'm trying to understand. You reached out to this man because you knew he liked you and you
he
needed
will.
money. So you basically reached out to use him for the money?
Not to use him, but to get some help from him. I might reach out to you, Judge, if we ain't got nothing. I'm gonna reach out to the guy. If my kids need something, I'm reaching
and
out.
when you reach out to me,
It's a
you
yes
will
or
hear
no.
me say, don't have no kids you can't afford to take care of.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that you start to be on social media. So you have to be on social media asking people, can they help you with your kids all around town? That's why if you reach out to me, you're going to get the real truth.
Okay,
Now, I'm
and that's-
listening
and
to
that's
your
from you,
story,
and that's
and
from
I'm
you.
trying to understand
That's
where you're
from you.
coming from. But every other line out of your mouth that I'm hearing is, because if I can't do it and he can't do it, somebody got to do it.
get
No,
done.
hold on. No.
Your Honor,
Somebody
I got
else
to
doesn't
provide
have
for
to
my
do
kids.
it. The 2 individuals that made the baby got to do it.
And that's why I'm here today. That's why I'm here, to get some help from the other individuals.
So
At
that's
the
why
end of the day,
I wanna,
you
okay, look. You said you was
Bottom
gonna
line,
reach out
I
to
need
me,
some
so
help.
I had to reach out and touch you
And
with
I
that
appreciate
information.
that. And I
You
appreciate
brought a
that.
witness. Stand up, ma'am. I would love to hear from you.
Yes,
Please
ma'am.
step to the podium. State your name for the court.
My name is Karan Clifton. Ashanti is my daughter.
Hello, ma'am. What would you like to add? What do you know about this situation?
Well, first of all, my daughter is self-sufficient. She's always worked and gone to school, and I'm very proud of her. Sam started out being a proud father. And I think jealousy raised this ugly head, which made him stop. You know, I taught my daughter to be self-sufficient. And if one won't, the other one will. When he stopped doing what he was gonna do, he left her and I to do what we are duty-bound to do, and that's raise them beautiful twins. And his old long head, no, his children.
I've always taken
So
care of
what
my
you're
twins.
saying is because he got jealous that
No,
she
Your
was
Honor.
dating other people,
Your Honor,
the level of
jealous.
support he
Yes,
was giving in the situation began to dwindle.
The minute level.
And then that led
Yes, ma'am.
you and your daughter to have to ask outside people to help with the kids because he wasn't.
But see, he go home to the missus every night like it's all right. So what she's supposed to do, sit there and be a hermit, be a recluse, and not have anyone in her life? Is that what you're
It has
saying?
nothing to do with my responsibility with my kids. Nothing at all.
and me-
I've
and me
always
dating
taken care of my
nothing to do
kids
with that either.
until
Listen,
that
Mr.
doubt.
Little, I'm trying to understand the Clifton's position. And you admitted to it in part. You said until you saw this other man in the picture, you were stepping up to the plate.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then when you realized he was there and thought that he possibly could be the father,
Yes, Your Honor.
you began to back off.
Correct, Your Honor.
Now, you made another true statement. Regardless of the fact that you're married, you signed the birth certificate, so legally by law, that's what the law considers you.
Your
their
Honor.
father.
Your Honor, because I.
Your Honor, he insists. After I had my children,
What is that you're holding up
These
there?
are the birth certificates.
Jerome, let
I
me see
incurred
those.
3 infections at the hospital having his kids. Almost lost my life. I had to be in the hospital for a week. Mr. Little came and got me out my sick bed and said my children have to have my last name, especially my boys.
And
So
you
he took
paid.
me down there to the place where we had to get it done, paid the money for the birth certificates, paid money to expedite it. He paid an extra $30 to expedite this so it could be done ASAP.
I just need to ask you this straight out because you've
go for
at
it.
least talked about 3 different men that you have and you say they help you. Is there any other man
No,
that
ma'am.
could potentially be
No,
the
ma'am.
children's father?
No, ma'am.
Number one.
No,
All
ma'am.
right,
It's
so
only
Jerome,
one.
with that said, I'm ready for the results.
Sam, I want to say I love you, Sam. You know I do.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics and they read as follows. In the case of Clifton versus Little, as it pertains to 6-month-old twins, King and Kalani Little, Mr. Little,
Yes, Your Honor.
you are not.
Not. God, I can't believe that. Or not. I thought for sure.
What are you thinking?
I don't know, because to be honest with you, I actually thought they were.
I did too.
To be honest with you.
Miss Clifton, I have to ask you again. Is there any other man?
Like I said, that was a month before me and Mr. Little. I was pregnant, I was with Mr. Little. Since then, I've been with Mr. Little.
Now that you know he is not their father, first of all, you got to let their real father know that they are his. And then you've got to expect and require of him that he help you take care of those children.
Absolutely.
But I will say this to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Pretty only goes so far.
And thank God I
in
don't
life.
use my, thank God I don't
and,
use
and,
my
and
looks.
listen, no.
Thank God I don't use my looks.
You told me that you have been using it, but what I want you to do is use it the right way.
Yes, ma'am.
The next time a man looks at you and says, if you need help, you can either pay me one way with your check or pay me another way with your body. You're a strong, beautiful woman. If you made the money and you have the money to pay for your car repairs, pay for them with your money and not your body. And you won't
Like I
end
have
up
been. I
in
will
this
continue to do that
courtroom
like I
today.
have been.
Court is adjourned.